Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guests are the cast of the new play titled Love to Love You Baby, La Historia de Dolores Verano, a story about a Puerto Rican woman who is the victim of domestic violence and whose only refuge from her pain and psychological trauma is the music of Donna Summer. Here now to discuss more are actors Lorraine Velez, Fernando Contreras, and Francis Mateo. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for taking a break from your rehearsal to meet with us, because I know you're all in this actual theater. What I didn't mention is that this is being written and directed by Luis Caballero. So I just wanted to acknowledge him and thank you once again for being here with us. So let's talk about this. I mean, this is some heavy work you got going on here.
It sure is. And it's unfortunate that this is something, actually, domestic violence is a real part of the world right now, and culture, Latino culture a lot as well. And especially durante la pandemia, this is something that really went fuera de control. It really got very bad during that time. So I was gonna say, it's nice to do a show about it. It's not nice to do a show about it, but I'm really happy to be working with these two beautiful men and doing something that's relevant in theater to talk about what's going on in the.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Lorraine. And we can talk about that a little more after we get to know the other actors, because I know you're the star, you're playing Dolores, and we can share with our audience exactly how she even came about in I guess Luis's thoughts and sight, because she's a person who owned a hair salon, and I always find it fascinating how certain characters intrigue individuals and feel compelled to share their stories. So, but before we do that, let's talk a little bit with Fernando and Francis, because I understand that you guys play multiple roles, and I also understand that her father played a role in, I guess, planting this psychological abuse in her DNA.
Yeah, so hi, my name is Fernando Contreras. I play, like you said, various characters in the show, people in Dolores's life. I play her husband. I also play one of her best friends. I play her mother. So it's an up and down roller coaster of interactions with Dolores in terms of how I come into the show. Yeah, Francis.
Hi,
Yeah.
my friend Francis Mateo over here on Lorraine's right. And again, I also play a few characters, and one of them is the father. I don't even want to say anything about it so that you could see it and that you can judge for yourself what's the deal, because there's a lot of stuff going on here dealing with that Lorraine was just talking to you, mental health, and a few of the things that are peppered and in the play throughout. It's quite intense. The rehearsals have been quite intense as well. Every time you get out of the rehearsals, it's like, okay, I need to have like a cup of tea, probably chamomile preferred, and sit down and let it sit.
Yeah, I kind of got that just by reading the synopsis, right? But I also understand that there's this refuge that she finds in Donna Summer music, so that's exciting.
That's really wonderful.
Yeah. I think for even for me, it's whenever we go into the music portion of it, it's a little bit of an escape from what we're dealing with a little bit, even for us as people. And so it's really kind of beautiful to see Dolores find refuge in something that we all know so well, especially like Donna Summer's music.
Yeah. So Lorraine, I wanted to ask you, right? Because I'm a domestic violence awareness advocate, and I'm aware of the different layers within domestic violence. And based on the fact that this character is really more of a psychologically abused individual, and then later finds herself with an officer who ends up being abusive, right? And I hope I'm not giving too much of the story away, but I just wonder, like, what you do to prepare for something like that.
I know. First, you didn't get the story wrong. There's and I don't want to give anything away because it's so fascinating, because she is married to someone and there is domestic violence as well as psychological violence. But the interesting thing is all our characters are so interdependent. And what I feel, the way Luis has written it, what it really demonstrates is how domestic violence isn't just a product of that immediate thing. You as the person probably who's having that violence done to or perpetrated on, you probably come from domestic violence, or you've had some kind of trauma in your life that allows you to make the choice to be with someone who's going to violate you that way. And then all the people in your life, Luigi, my best friend, my dad, these people are completely touched by this violence, and they've had that violence done to them as well. So what's really fascinating about the show, one of the aspects, is that interdependence of trauma and abuse, and how it can just keep going if you're not aware and you don't know what to do to break that cycle.
And then at the end of the day, it's not a black and white. It's really, really, really complicated. Yeah, it's complex.
Yeah,
sometimes it's a vicious circle.
It's so important what you guys are doing. And I just want the audience to understand that, this isn't like a play that you're going to go to and you're going to be sad, right? It's more of like an enlightenment. It's more of like, hey, this is reality. This is humanity. This is unfortunate. The way we tend to normalize things, right? When we see things that don't really sit well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rhina, it's a wonderful point to bring up, because the issue is so serious, and it deserves that kind of seriousness. But because of the music of Donna Summer, and it being a refuge, not just to Dolores, to so many of us, and I think that there'll be so many people who can remember where they were when they heard Donna Summer, or how it affected them in their life. And because she reaches for that refuge every time she does, it's a refuge for us who are watching it as well. And like in life, we all have our little refuges, we find our way. So hopefully even that message of find whatever it is that uplifts you, that makes you feel more connected or more safe, whatever that is, find it, use it, have it in your life.
I totally agree.
Before we go, because they're wrapping me, I want you all to come up with a word that you want people, or you think people will leave with, from what the roles that you play in it. So we'll start with you, Lorraine.
A word that would capture Dolores, or the role?
Yes.
Oh, can you get the guys first?
Is it a word that the audience is going to come out with from the show, or just the character? The audience is going to come out with.
Audience.
Like as an audience member, like what are they going to come out? What is a word that they're going to?
I know I put you on the spot, but I know you can come up with
one word. I think, you said it earlier, enlightenment. I think enlightenment into just this world and what that means if people don't know, or if that people can connect to it. I think enlightenment.
I think I would say connection, love and connection, if I could use two words.
Okay.
You can. It's really difficult. I'm a writer, so I'm like.
I know. I was going to ask you for a word.
I'm writing an essay.
Come on,
here.
Francis. Come on. What's your word?
I'm writing an essay. No, so what we're going to do? I think they should come out with questions on how to make, on how not to go the easy way of pinpointing what's the problem, but how can we heal? You know what I'm saying, Rhina? How can we heal? How can we make this better? Instead of just like throwing more to the fire.
Yeah.
So that's my hope. I think for me as well, and for the whole thing.
That was more than one word.
I know. I
was like, professor.
No. I mean, it was beautiful. They're gonna edit me out. They're gonna be like, that's it. That was too long.
Oh gosh. But anyway, I once again, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with our audience, and for your choice in presentation. And my word is wellness, right? Because everything that you guys have shared really leads into stimulating wellness. All right. So I use more than one word too.
There you go. I don't feel that bad now.
She did, Rhina.
Thank you again, Lorraine Velez, Fernando Contreras, y Francis Mateo. They're going to be performing in Love to Love You, Baby, La Historia de Dolores Verano. That's opening May 12th and it's running through May 29th at Teatro Círculo, located at 64 East 4th Street. And if you're interested in tickets, visit teatrocirculo.org. All right, we got to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to hear about the Bronx and Uptown night markets bringing another year of culture and cuisine to NYC. Don't go anywhere.